Welcome to the newsroom on CNN Philippines. In the news, the government cancels peace talks with the communist rebels as President Duterte says he refused to form a coalition government with the left. The Philippine government condemns the deadly bombing in Egypt and confirms Filipinos there are safe. And it's another epic battle for the blue and the green. Ateneo and LaSalle go head-to-head in Game 1 of the UAAP Men's Basketball Finals.
This program is presented by Bank of Commerce, an affiliate of San Miguel Corporation.
Good evening, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Thanks for joining us. A home for Christmas. This is what more than 200 families are demanding from the government after authorities demolished their houses along the floodway in Pasig. Tonight, they're camping out in Mendiola to light up a tree in protest. Our Makoy Popioco joins us live from there. Makoy, how will they go through the night?
We're here inside one of the makeshift houses where these protesters are temporarily staying while camping out here at Mendiola. Imagine 10 families are sharing this cramped space. All in all, 60 families have been staying here for over a month now. They're among the more than 200 families left homeless after their houses along the Mangan floodway in Pasig were demolished. The group Balikwas Kadamay organized these families, and the group is demanding the government to provide these families decent housing before Christmas Eve. Here we met 48-year-old Rowena Villano, who's been a resident living along the floodway for 10 years. She believes President Duterte has failed them for not taking any action on their plight. Villano, who has 2 children, criticizes the Duterte administration for being anti-poor. Villano makes this daring appeal to Mr. Duterte.
Ngayon Duterte, imbis na kami tulungan mo, kami pang mga mahihirap ang inaalipusta mo, kami pang mahihirap, halos murahin mo at kung ano pa ang mga masasakit na salita na binibitawan mo. Bakit Duterte, nung mga panahon na ikaw ay nangangailangan, kanino ka ba lumalapit? Sino ba ang unang-unang mong pinuntahan? Mga dayuhan ba? Mga mayayaman ba? Hindi ba kaming mga mahihirap ang una mong nilapitan? Kaming mga mahihirap ang dapat mong unahin at bigyan ng pansin.
These families say there's a huge possibility that they will be spending Christmas and New Year here. So to uplift Christmas spirit, they put up this what they call crisis mass tree, a play-up of the words crisis and Christmas tree. And well, this is made of wood, and on it are words written like demolition, mataas na preso, privatisasyon. And the names of President Duterte and Pasig City Mayor Robert Eusebio are also on it. And well, now they adorned the crisis mass tree with Christmas lights, serving as a beacon of hope for the displaced families here. Mike.
Makoy, tell us, why were the houses demolished, and weren't they assisted by the local government for relocation?
Well, the local government of Pasig City has imposed a crackdown on illegal settlers living along the floodway in Pasig City. Well, the government has offered assistance. In fact, these protesters admit that. But these protesters complain that the houses or the relocation site provided by the government is far from their children's school and their work. They also complain that some of the houses there are not even complete and have no electricity and water connection. We tried reaching or asking for comment from Mayor Eusebio on this, but we have not received any response to our queries. Mike.
All right, Makoy Popioco there reporting live from Mendiola. They used to be friends, but now President Rodrigo Duterte has signed Proclamation 360, canceling peace negotiations with the communist rebels. The party's founder is accusing President Duterte of sabotaging the talks. Our senior correspondent David Santos reports.
President Duterte finally makes good his threat to scrap the peace talks. He signed Proclamation 360 hours before it was made public late Thursday evening. While the move stunned peace stakeholders, Presidential Peace Advisor Jess Dureza calls for sobriety and understanding.
I'm sure itong ginawa niya na cancellation has a purpose. The ultimate end here will be to work towards peace.
But the president's counterpart in the talks, CPP founder Joma Sison, was not in an understanding mode, to say the least. In a statement, Sison lambasts the mental fitness of Duterte, his former student, for whom he had glowing words before. Sison calls the president's knowledge of the peace process shallow and defective, and even goes as far as to suggest that the president's men should consider replacing him. The communist movement said the president's decision to terminate the negotiations came when both peace panels had quietly agreed to resume the stalled peace talks in Norway before the end of the month. This would have been a major breakthrough, since significant agreements such as land reform and joint ceasefire mechanisms were on the agenda. The government panel would not confirm this.
Well, I don't want to disclose things that are not made public yet, but they're entitled to disclose what they think they should.
The non-stop NPA attacks, including one that killed an infant, Dureza says, prompted the president to end the talks. But Sison says the AFP and PNP had committed far worse offenses, yet the left never threatened to abandon the negotiations. For Dureza, Proclamation 360 makes the cancellation of the talks final and executory. The National Democratic Front, which negotiates on behalf of the CPP-NPA, insists they need to be formally informed. Once acknowledged, a 30-day grace period has to be observed. Since the late 1990s, this is the first time the peace talks were terminated with the CPP, which has been waging one of Asia's longest insurgencies.
So don't give up. This is not the end of the road. This is just a roadblock. We can find other detours to go to our destination. Diba?
David Santos, CNN Philippines.
President Duterte says he canceled the talks with the CPP-NDF because he couldn't give what they wanted, a coalition government. Speaking at Camp Texon in San Miguel, Bulacan yesterday, the president explained why he signed Proclamation 360. Aside from the NPA attacks that were happening even amid negotiations, the left's proposal of a coalition government did not sit well with President Duterte.
I already noticed the trend of the thoughts of the other side. And when I sum it all, reading from all previous working papers, it would be sound like a coalition government. That is why I said in the previous days, I cannot give you what I do not own. And certainly, a coalition government with the Republic of the Philippines is pure nonsense.
CPP founder Joma Sison calls President Duterte a liar after the president said he ended talks because the left wanted a coalition government. Sison referred to a news report in 2014 where then Mayor Duterte was quoted saying he will forge a coalition with the revolutionary forces if he becomes president. Mr. Duterte said it would solve the decades-long war with the rebels. Now Sison calls the president a political swindler who depends on lying. President Duterte yesterday ordered the arrest of Sison if he comes home from the Netherlands, where he has been seeking asylum. Malacanang condemns a statement of 3 United Nations special rapporteurs on the country's anti-drug campaign. The government says it will never condone extrajudicial killings and tolerate human rights violations. The palace was reacting to the UN rapporteur's statement that a significant number of killings, which appear to be perpetrated by law enforcement officials and unknown assailants, have been reported to them. They called on the government to investigate the killings, bring perpetrators to justice, thoroughly review the current policy, and prevent further attacks. Malacanang adds it will not allow these biased individuals parading themselves as human rights experts to bully governments. Still ahead, President Donald Trump says he took a pass at being named Time's Person of the Year. We'll tell you what the magazine says about that. And we tell you the latest on the reunion movie of Sharon Cuneta and Robin Padilla. Back after a quick break. Stay with us. Good evening to our Facebook viewers. Thank you for joining us live tonight. Maraming salamat po. Thank you for your time. Marami nang nagre-react dun sa top story ngayon, yung ni-report ni Makoy Popioko na nagmo-monitor dun sa developments doon sa protest action ngayon sa Mendiola, Manila. May mga nawalan kasi ng bahay, dinemolish yung bahay nila sa Pasig sa may floodway. At ngayon, they're camping out in Mendiola and they're calling on the government, on President Duterte to give them housing, to give them shelter for Christmas. Binabasa ko nga yung mga ibang reaction nyo dito. Babasahin ko lang yung mga iba yung mga comments. Si Contemplo Sebastian Kyle is saying, bakit si Duterte na naman ang sinisisi nyo? Sabi niya, abay, magtrabaho kayo para magkapera kayo. Di yung puro rally ang alam nyo. Reaction ni Contemplo Sebastian Kyle. Si Ryan J. Castilar, sabi naman niya, at talagang may pambayad pa sila ng kuryente para mag-Christmas lights. Na-observe na yan doon sa protest action ngayon sa Mendiola. But Makoy Popioko has been monitoring the situation there today. Sinabi nga niya na yung mga nandoon, yung mga displaced residents, andoon na sila for over a month now. Kasi yung pagde-demolish ng bahay nila took place over a month ago. At ang mga daing naman nila, sabi nila, may relocation site naman for them, pero wala naman daw maayos na koneksyon ng tubig at kuryente. Ngayon, patuloy namin kinukuha ang reaksyon ng Pasig City local government dito. Katunayan na we're trying to get a statement from Mayor Robert Eusebio at hinihintay lang namin ang kanyang reply at ang kanyang statement dito. We will give you that statement as soon as we have it. Also happening today, big game, Ateneo and LaSalle in the UAAP. Abangan nyo yan kasi may update kami dyan. Nandun si Paulo Del Rosario to give us the latest on the game right now. It's in the fourth quarter. A very tight game. Abangan natin yung balita ni Paulo Del Rosario from the MOA Arena. Now I'd like to greet some of you watching us tonight. Si Moises Magalona says he's watching from Sarangani Province. Si Melinda Hasilund from Bahrain. Alex Catriz joining us from Saudi Arabia. Si Earl Ching from Cagayan de Oro City. And si Julius Libre watching from Davao. Marami pang storya po. Aabangan ninyo. We have 15 more minutes to go in the show coming up. May statement po ang Department of Foreign Affairs doon sa nangyaring bombing at gun attack sa Egypt. That's in a mosque in the northern Sinai region in Egypt. Ang dami pong namatay, more than 200 people. Pero may statement ngayon ang DFA condemning that attack. Stay tuned. This is the newsroom on CNN Philippines. Welcome back. The House panel running the impeachment proceedings against Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno has invited Associate Justice Teresita de Castro to shed light on allegations. Sereno's lawyers say they're ready for it. Our Rex Remitio has this story.
Two Supreme Court justices pitted against each other. Lawmakers at the lower house have invited Associate Justice Teresita de Castro to testify against Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. De Castro had questioned Sereno's actions, such as granting foreign travel allowances without the approval of all justices. De Castro has yet to say if she's attending as witness. Larry Gadon, the lawyer who filed the complaint against Sereno, also cannot confirm it. But Gadon earlier claimed De Castro is willing to become a witness against her colleague. Sereno's lawyers say they're ready for De Castro. After all, she has denied Gadon's claim that she released classified information to a journalist. This refers to a stay order against proclaiming some party list winners in the 2013 elections.
So parang that kind of statement took the thunder away from what could have been a dramatic appearance.
Sereno's lawyers think it's inappropriate for De Castro as a High Court justice to attend the hearing.
In terms of impact, siguro it's controversial. parang, oy, kakaiba ito It's unconventional, but kung matatamaan ang aming depensa o hindi, wala po kaming pangamba, wala kaming nakikitang dahilan para mabahala.
Although Sereno's lawyers are confident they can defend the case when it reaches the Senate, they're still hoping the lower house would junk the impeachment complaint. Rex Remitio, CNN, Philippines.
The Philippine government condemns Friday's deadly attack at a mosque in Egypt that killed at least 235 people. The Foreign Affairs Department in a statement says attacks on any place of worship are unacceptable. The DFA, meanwhile, says there are no Filipino casualties in what could be the deadliest attack in Egypt. Secretary Alan Peter Cayetano says the Philippine Embassy in Cairo is continuously monitoring developments. There are around 5,000 registered Filipinos in Egypt. They are advised against going to the northern Sinai region due to a high risk of terror attacks. It looks like President Trump will not be Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2017. The president tweeted Friday he turned down a potential offer to the title, saying the magazine told him he would probably be given the honors, but he would have to do an interview and a photo shoot. The magazine refutes Trump's claims in a statement. It says President Trump was incorrect on how Time chooses its Person of the Year. It adds Time does not comment on our choice until publication, which is on December 6th. Trump was named Person of the Year in 2016 following his victory over Hillary Clinton. In collegiate hoops, the Ateneo Blue Eagles and the De La Salle Green Archers are now going head-to-head in Game 1 of the UAAP Finals. Now, how did their rivalry become the biggest thing in college basketball? Here's Paulo Del Rosario.
In UAAP Season 80, we will have another La Salle versus Ateneo Championship Series. Let's take a quick look back at the two schools' history in the UAAP. The rivals were reunited in 1986, when La Salle made the jump to the UAAP from the NCAA. It didn't take long for Ateneo and La Salle to meet in the finals. In the 1987-88 season, the Blue Eagles defended their crown against their longtime rivals. The next season, it was La Salle's turn to wear the crown. Then head coach Derek Pumaren led the Green Archers to their first ever UAAP crown against the FEU Tamaraws. Since the league entered the Final Four era in the 93-94 season, both La Salle and Ateneo have been constant title contenders in the league. La Salle leads the league in finals appearances with 16, while Ateneo follows in second with 11 in the Final Four era. The two teams don't just make it to the finals, they also win them. In their time in the UAAP, La Salle has won 9 men's basketball titles, while Ateneo trails closely with 8 of their own. A win for the blue side this year could see Ateneo even up the score. The saying goes that when it's Ateneo and La Salle playing, previous stats and records don't matter. Another saying from both schools goes, matalo na sa lahat, basta hindi sa kanila. In the coming days, it isn't just pride on the line. It is another championship. Paulo Del Rosario, CNN Philippines.
Paulo is at the Mall of Asia Arena monitoring the game. He'll be back later to give us an update. Still ahead, you don't want to miss this. The cast of Matilda sing their way to your hearts. And an update on the much-awaited finals, Game 1 between longtime rivals Ateneo and La Salle. This is Newsroom Weekend on CNN Philippines. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining us live on Facebook. Like we said, si Paulo Del Rosario will give us an update on that Game 1 in the UAAP Finals between Ateneo and La Salle happening right now at the MOA Arena. Abangan niyo po yan. It's a very tight and exciting game. Now, ngayon, marami pang story. And we have a nice story about Matilda. It's showing right now at the Meralco Theater, and some of the cast members went to the studio of CNN Philippines to give us a sample of what to expect on the show. Abangan niyo po yan. Ang gagaling nila, I'm telling you. Tapos ito, air pa ba natin si Xander Ford? May story tayo about Xander Ford kasi trending siya ngayon. May mga balitang he's missing daw, pero may video siya kagabi. Sinabi niya, nagpapahinga lang siya. He wants to take a break from showbiz. So we'll give you the latest on that story. Now, I'd like to say hi to some of our viewers watching us now. Si Jeff Castro from Baguio City is watching us tonight. Magandang gabi sa'yo. Si Randy Romelo from Germany. Hello. Herbert Pabilona from Singapore. Bong Sapico from Japan. At si Fer Lopez from Davao City. Thank you for joining us tonight. Ito, may mga comment pa kanina doon sa story natin. Yung like, as you've seen earlier, si Makoy Papioco had a story on the displaced residents camping out in Mendiola, in Manila. Nawalan po sila ng bahay kasi na-demolish yung bahay nila doon sa may floodway sa Pasig City. At Makoy went to them and talked to them at tinanong niya ano yung mga hinaing nila at kung bakit sila umalis doon sa relocation site. Ano? Sabi nga nila, may problema raw sa koneksyon ng tubig at kuryente doon sa relocation site. Hinihintay pa rin po natin yung statement ng Pasig local government tungkol dyan sa kaguluhan dyan sa relocation site for them at doon sa protest action ngayon na nangyayari sa Mendiola in Manila. I'd like to greet Alex Leon de Catriz watching from Jeddah. Si Mel Mags says magandang gabi and good evening to you too. Si Rod Moreno, kanina pa nanonood. Good evening, Rod. Thank you for joining us tonight. At si Jeff Castro, nabati ko na yata, says, hi, good evening. Now watching CNN News headlines. And si Randy Romelo watching from Germany. Si Herbert Pabilona says, magandang gabi from Singapore. Mami Jan says, hi, my glad you're okay now. Thank you po. Thank you for tuning in. And si Bong Sapico watching from Japan. Ian C. is watching. Si Sir Pal is watching. Good evening, Sir Pal. Binate ang boss. Okay, Mark Cabalo Mundas watching from KSA. Thank you for joining us. Newsroom's back with more stories. Big things come in small packages, and these three talented girls prove just that. Esang De Torres, Uma Martin, and Kyle Napuli, alternately playing the role of Matilda, shared with CNN Philippines what it's like to be part of this Tony Award-winning musical. It's based on the 1988 children's novel about a 5-year-old girl with extraordinary powers. The young ladies also gave us a sample.
The noise in my head was incredibly loud, and I just wish they'd stop. My dad and my mum and the telly and stories would stop for just once. And I'm sorry, I'm not quite explaining it right, but the noise becomes anger, and the anger is the light, and it's burning inside me, which usually fades, but it isn't today. And the heat and the shouting, and my heart is pounding, and my eyes are burning, and suddenly everything is.
It's a phenomenal show. Matilda the musical runs until December 10th at the Meralco Theater. Now, a video of internet sensation Xander Ford is circulating online. He refutes claims that he is missing, saying he's just tired and wants to take a break from show business for a few months. Last night, Xander's talent agency Star Image Artist Management claimed Xander was missing. They posted this poster on their Facebook page saying Xander was last seen at around 12 midnight of Thursday and that some of Xander's guestings were canceled due to his disappearance. The talent agency also says it has sought police assistance from Imus Cavite Mayor Manny Maliksi to find Xander. We asked the agency about his latest video, and here's what they have to say. Yes, we've already seen it. Actually, even his family doesn't know where he is. Kausap namin mom niya at hindi po nila alam kung nasan po nagstay si Xander. Xander was a former member of the teen boy band #5. The internet star shocked netizens in October when he revealed his new look following plastic surgery. Gilas Pilipinas begins its bid to enter the 2019 World Cup on a winning note. Gilas beat Japan Friday 77-71. Team Philippines controlled action in the first half, but Japan tried to take over in the second. Jason Castro led Gilas with 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Andre Blatch added a double-double, 13 markers and 12 boards. Up next for the Philippines is Chinese Taipei. That game is on Monday, November 27th at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. It's Ateneo versus LaSalle once again in the battle for UAAP supremacy. Our Paulo Del Rosario is at the Mall of Asia Arena. Paulo, how's this game turning out? Who's leading? I understand it's just over a minute left in the game.
That's right, Mai. Over 1 minute and 16 seconds left in the game. Ateneo currently has the lead 73-70 over the LaSalle Green Archers. But it looked like Ateneo could have ended the game a bit earlier. They were leading by as much as 10 points in the middle of the fourth quarter. But LaSalle are coming back with a run of their own. Will they be able to overturn the deficit and get the win? Or will Ateneo hold on and claim game one? There's only a minute and 16 left in the game, but in basketball terms, that could last an eternity. Mai?
Paulo, tell us about it somehow turned physical earlier. There was somebody who was injured. He was on the floor and bleeding. Tell us about that.
That's right. In the second quarter, this actually shows just how physical this game is. Ben Mbala, when he was making a move towards the basket, an inverted elbow found the forehead of Matt Nieto, the Ateneo guard, and he was seen sprawled on the floor and bleeding. At the halftime break, they patched him up, and he came out and he's now wearing a bandage. He's still playing. But it just goes to show just how physical the game is on the court as well. And, you know, the intensity is also spilling over to the crowd. I sat amongst the LaSalle fans. I sat among Ateneo fans. And some of the words being thrown around are not safe for airing. But you can just tell just how intense this game is and just how in it everyone is, from the crowd to the players. Right?
So Matt Nieto is back in the game, but Ateneo was leading or is still leading much of the way, but very slim margin. Tell us about that.
Well, very slim margins for Ateneo right now. LaSalle and Ateneo the entire season actually have shown that they are going to stick close to each other and not get blown out as it showed here. It looked like Ateneo was pulling away here in the fourth quarter. Right now, LaSalle just trying to catch up, trying to make sure that they are getting the job done. Right now, though, Ben Mbala, the reigning MVP for LaSalle, hasn't been producing his monster numbers. In fact, it's Alden Melesio of LaSalle pulling LaSalle further. And right now, Ateneo just trying to keep LaSalle away. And as you can hear behind me, the game is resuming. Ateneo just missed a shot, and LaSalle now have a chance once again to get it closer.
Okay, more than 40 seconds left in the game. Paulo Del Rosario reporting from the Mall of Asia Arena. The long wait is over. The megastar and the bad boy of Philippine cinema are reuniting on screen. Earlier today, Sharon Cuneta and Robin Padilla appeared before the media for the grand launch of their romantic comedy film, Unexpectedly Yours. The two talked about how it feels to be reunited after 16 long years. Sharon is pretty much excited about this movie. This is her first film after returning to her home network. Joining them is the love team Julia Barreto and Joshua Garcia, or Josh Leah. Unexpectedly Yours hits theaters Wednesday, November 29th. That's what's happening in the newsroom this Saturday. Welcome to the newsroom on CNN Philippines. In the news, the government cancels peace talks with the communist rebels as President Rodrigo Duterte says he refused to form a coalition government with the left. The government is investigating back-to-back scams where billions of pesos and former Aquino government officials are involved. And another epic display of wit and power in collegiate basketball tonight, Game 1 of the UAAP Finals between Ateneo and LaSalle. Good afternoon, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Thanks for joining us. They used to be friends, but now President Duterte has signed Proclamation 360, canceling peace negotiations with the communist rebels. The party's founder is accusing President Duterte of sabotaging the talks. Our senior correspondent David Santos reports.
President Duterte finally makes good his threat to scrap the peace talks. He signed Proclamation 360 hours before it was made public late Thursday evening. While the move stunned peace stakeholders, Presidential Peace Advisor Jess Dureza calls for sobriety and understanding.
I'm sure itong ginawa niya na cancellation has a purpose. The ultimate end here will be to work towards peace.
But the president's counterpart in the talks, CPP founder Joma Sison, was not in an understanding mode, to say the least. In a statement, Sison lambasts the mental fitness of Duterte, his former student, for whom he had glowing words before. Sison calls the president's knowledge of the peace process shallow and defective, and even goes as far as to suggest that the president's men should consider replacing him. The communist movement said the president's decision to terminate the negotiations came when both peace panels had quietly agreed to resume the stalled peace talks in Norway before the end of the month. This would have been a major breakthrough, since significant agreements such as land reform and joint ceasefire mechanisms were on the agenda. The government panel would not confirm this.
Well, I don't want to disclose things that are not made public yet, but they're entitled to disclose what they think they should.
The non-stop NPA attacks, including one that killed an infant, Dureza says, prompted the president to end the talks. But Sison says the AFP and PNP had committed far worse offenses, yet the left never threatened to abandon the negotiations. For Dureza, Proclamation 360 makes the cancellation of the talks final and executory. The National Democratic Front, which negotiates on behalf of the CPP-NPA, insists they need to be formally informed. Once acknowledged, a 30-day grace period has to be observed. Since the late 1990s, this is the first time the peace talks were terminated with the CPP, which has been waging one of Asia's longest insurgencies.
So don't give up. This is not the end of the road. This is just a roadblock. We can find other detours to go to our destination. Diba?
David Santos, CNN Philippines.
President Duterte says he canceled the talks with the CPP-NDF because he couldn't give what they wanted, a coalition government. Speaking at Camp Texon in San Miguel, Bulacan yesterday, the president explained why he signed Proclamation 360. Aside from the NPA attacks that were happening even amid negotiations, the left's proposal of a coalition government did not sit well with President Duterte.
I already noticed the trend of the thoughts of the other side. And when I sum it all, reading from all previous working papers, it would sound like a coalition government. That is why I said in the previous days, I cannot give you what I do not own. And certainly, a coalition government with the Republic of the Philippines is pure nonsense.
The president did not give details on this coalition government. He added he's ready to engage the NPA in war if that's what the communist rebels want. President Duterte also wants the surrender of 30 to 40 NPA leaders released from detention temporarily to take part in the peace talks.
And I am ordering those I have released temporarily to surrender or face, again, punitive actions. You have to go back where you belong. I released you because I thought it might help. Eh kung hindi makatulong, then you are undercutting me before the eyes of the Filipino people. You must be joking.
The CPP-NDF has said there is a process to be followed as far as the freed NDF consultants are concerned. President Duterte says government lawyers must first file the necessary motions in court. The armed forces expects the rebels to step up attacks against government forces. That's why the military will also intensify offensives.
Amin pong ine-expect yan. Sila'y magpapakitang gilas. sila'y magpapahiwatig na nariyan pa rin sila. We have already provided the guidance to our units to be vigilant and stay alert pertaining to the movements of the NPA.
The military says there are some 3,800 NPA members. The intensified operations will also target criminals and rebels carrying firearms. Leaders of Communist Front organizations will also be arrested. Asked if this is a declaration of war, Padilla says they're simply performing their mandate.
Are we officially declaring war against these enemies in this state? It is the mandate of the armed forces to go after criminals and illegally armed elements. So it is part of that mandate, and we will fulfill it. You know, war may be called whatever activities you do, you may call them war. But here we are performing on a mandate. So whatever it is that you term it, it is always in performance of our mandate.
Malacanang condemns the statement of 3 United Nations special rapporteurs on the country's anti-drug campaign. The government says it will never condone extrajudicial killings and tolerate human rights violations. The palace was reacting to the UN rapporteur's statement that a significant number of killings, which appear to be perpetrated by law enforcement officials and unknown assailants, have been reported to them. They called on the government to investigate the killings, bring perpetrators to justice, thoroughly review the current policy, and prevent further attacks. Malacanang adds it will not allow these biased individuals parading themselves as human rights experts to bully governments. Gilas Pilipinas begins its bid to enter the 2019 World Cup on a winning note. Gilas beat Japan Friday 77-71. Team Philippines controlled action in the first half, but Japan tried to take over in the second. Jason Castro led Gilas with 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Andre Blatch added a double-double, 13 markers, and 12 boards. Up next for the Philippines is Chinese Taipei. That game is on Monday, November 27th at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. In other news, a video of internet sensation Xander Ford is circulating online. He refutes claims that he is missing, saying he's just tired and wants to take a break from show business for a few months. Last night, Xander's talent agency Star Image Artist Management claimed Xander was missing. They posted this poster on their Facebook page saying Xander was last seen at around 12 midnight Thursday and that some of Xander's guestings were canceled due to his disappearance. The talent agency also says it has sought police assistance from Imus Cavite Mayor Manny Maliksi to find Xander. We asked the agency about his latest video. They confirmed they have seen it but gave no further comment. Xander was a former member of the teen boy band #5. The internet star shocked netizens in October when he revealed his new look following plastic surgery. We're just days away from the much-anticipated Miss Universe competition in Las Vegas. Let's find out what are the chances of Rachel Peters winning the Miss Universe title. Our Christine Jacob Sandejas talked to her mentor. Watch this.
What competitive edge do you think she has over the other beautiful candidates from all over the world?
Number one, her body is to die for. She has an athletic, sexy body with infinite legs. Aside from that, she has a personality. And secondly, her walk, her stance, her presence on stage, it was purely, I can say, outstanding. The costume was designed by Val Taguba. So we asked Val Taguba to prepare sketches for the national costume. And he prepared several. And then when we saw this Golden Sarimanok national costume, Rachel and I readily agreed that this is it for her. We really wanted to be different this time and to highlight Rachel's body. In the coronation night, it's going to be very sexy, highlighting Rachel's figure.
How and will that affect what she will actually wear on coronation night?
Secret. So you just have to watch out what she's going to wear on the final night.
The coronation is on Monday morning, Manila time. Later we'll show you how Christine got some training how to walk like a beauty queen. When we return, issues keep hounding officials of the past administration, with 2 of them now linked to a multi-billion roadway scam. And Zimbabwe's new president, Emerson Mnangagwa, makes big promises to his country's citizens. We'll tell you what later. Stay with Newsroom Weekend. We're live on Facebook. Thank you for joining us today. Magandang tanghali po sa inyong lahat. Kamusta na po kayo? I'm back from a long rest dahil as you know, last weekend, masama po yung pakiramdam ko at nawala yung boses ko. Thank goodness ngayon medyo bumuti naman siya. So I'd like to first greet some of you. Marami nang bumabate. Since we started the show, marami ring excited para sa Ateneo Lasal game sa UAAP mamaya. No? Si Dan Joshua Apura said, "Go Ateneo Blue Eagles, cheers to UAAP champion." Aabangan yan mamaya. Of course, this is the long rivalry between the two universities. Ang tagal-tagal na talaga nito. Ang daming fans na I'm sure maghihintay for game 1 of the finals. Lorna Domingo says hi. Si Brian Ibrahim says good afternoon mga ka-CNN. Si Roylan Santiago says watching habang naka-duty sa clinic. Oy, kumusta ka? Duty ka sa clinic ngayon. Thank you. Good afternoon. He says good afternoon Miss Mai. More power CNN Philippines. Tapos marami pa rin nagre-react sa, well, the first story today, the top story still, yung cancellation or termination of the peace talks with the CPP, NDF. This is the first time in so long that the end of peace talks was announced. 18 years, if I am correct. Si David Santos had an in-depth report on that. Tapos also trending today, Xander Ford, sinabi niya na he is not missing, pero I think marami nagsasabi na nagtatago siya sa talent agency niya at even his family daw doesn't know where he is. Pero he released a video last night nga, no, na sinasabi niya na, well, he just wants to take a short break from show business. Well, marami din nagko-comment dyan sa ating Facebook Live. Ito naman, marami pa tayong babatiin dito. Si Teban Botoy watching from Riyadh Air Base. Ito, si DCMRD is reacting to our top story on the peace talks. He says the peace talk was about the comprehensive agreement, socio-economic reforms, diba? Bakit umiba ang script? Yun ang sinasabi niya. 15 seconds to go, I think. Okay, stay tuned for more stories. You're in the newsroom on CNN Philippines. Welcome back. Another multi-billion peso scam. Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre reveals a syndicate is defrauding the government of billions of pesos. Not only that, high-ranking public officials are part of the scam. Our Anjo Alimario has more.
9 billion pesos. That's the amount allegedly stolen from the government involving a road right-of-way scam in General Santos City. Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre says the National Bureau of Investigation has a witness who is providing details. How does the fraud work? Aguirre says the syndicate submitted to the Department of Public Works and Highways fake titles in the name of non-existent landowners. This is to allow them to claim just compensation from the expropriation of land which will be supposedly occupied by government projects.
We have information that one claim for just compensation amounted to 29 million pesos.
The witness, a private citizen, named those involved in the scam, including a certain Nelson T., a relative of the country's former ambassador to China.
Our witness further revealed that Mr. Nelson T., the financier of the group, is a close relative of Domingo Lee, a Philippine ambassador to China, and is supposedly close to former President Benigno Aquino III.
The witness also tagged former Public Works Secretary Rogelio Singson and former Budget Secretary Butch Abad.
DPWH Secretary Rogelio Singson who apparently approved and requested the release of payment of fake road right-of-way claims. Former Budget Secretary Florencio Abad, who apparently approved the release of payment for illegal road right-of-way.
Aguirre believes the two department secretaries benefited from the mess.
Yun ang implication eh. Talagang kumita, kumitang lahat.
In a statement, Abad says the accusation is baseless and not true. He adds he and his former department were never part of the negotiations. As for Singson, he says he looked into the documents first. But what's clear, Aguirre says, there's collusion. Aguirre has instructed the NBI to continue its investigation to strengthen the case. Anjali Mario, CNN Philippines.
Secretary Aguirre also ordered the National Bureau of Investigation to investigate the alleged misuse of billions of pesos in public funds. Aguirre wants a special task force that will reopen the probe on the Disbursement Acceleration Program, or DAP, and the Priority Development Assistance Fund, or PDAF scams. Aguirre says new evidence surfaced. PDAF, also known as pork barrel, was money allocated in the national budget that could be spent at the discretion of lawmakers. The Supreme Court declared it unconstitutional in November 2013 because it encroached on the duty of the executive branch to enact the national budget. In October 2011, the Aquino administration set up the DAP to speed up spending by realigning government savings. The Supreme Court in July 2014 declared specific acts of this program as unconstitutional. News overseas, authorities in Egypt are hunting down the attackers of a Sufi mosque in northern Sinai that killed at least 235 people. More than 100 were also injured when militants launched a bomb and gun attack on the Al Rawda Mosque during Friday prayers. This is thought to be the deadliest terror attack on the country's soil, and President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi vowed to respond with brute force. No one has yet claimed responsibility, but the strike bears the hallmark of ISIS. Zimbabwe's former Vice President Emerson Mnangagwa promises reforms to lift Zimbabwe out of poverty by eliminating corruption. He was sworn in as the country's new president following the resignation of Robert Mugabe. The swearing-in ceremony took place at the National Sports Stadium. 18 days ago, Mnangagwa was fired by Mugabe that set off a minor revolution, leading Zimbabwe to this point. His appointment brings the country in the grip of a new positive energy. People who have had no voice suddenly came back to life. Mnangagwa is the third president of the Republic of Zimbabwe. He spent most of his career serving Mugabe. Still ahead for certified titos and titas, there's a place that might bring out the nostalgia in you. And we take a look at the decades-long rivalry of the colors blue and green in the UAAP. Stay tuned. Good afternoon again to our viewers. We're live on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. Marami pa akong babatiin. First of all, may mga reactions pa rin dun sa top story at doon sa report ni senior correspondent natin na si David Santos doon sa pag-terminate ng peace talks with the CPP-NDF. Marami ang actually expressing support for the decision of President Duterte. Si Joaquin Palomo says, "We support the decision of PRRD. God bless the AFP. God bless the Philippines." Si Ernie Del Rosario Munoz is watching from the UAE. He says, "Decades these NPAs had abused and became a threat to national security. President Duterte is the answer to finish their abuses with our farmers, businessmen, and local officials for revolutionary tax. They're asking but no projects." Yan ang sinabi ni Ernie Munoz. Now it's time to greet many of you watching us today. Si Weiler Olores Jr. watching from Qatar. Si Marlon Panares says, "Happy weekend, Miss Mai." Happy weekend to you too. Sana maganda ang weekend nyo, the start of the weekend. Si Andots Magellan Yungib says hello from Juarez, Mexico. Sumage Jerry, watching from Toronto, Canada. Jongjong Suwiko General Ata. Talagang haba ng pangalan mo, ha? Says hello, good day, watching from Jeddah. Ruben Villasanta Bayona says hello and get well. Thank you. Si Melay de Austria, watching from work. Dada Noel, hello, welcome back. Thank you sa'yo, Dada. And si Ding Mesiano, well, may comment siya doon sa pag-terminate ng peace talks ulit. Sabi niya, how can that be when your enemy continues to stab your back? Si Rexel Meneses is asking, what time ang Miss Universe sa Lunes? I received word that it's going to be at 8 a.m. That's on Monday morning, Manila time. Sa Sunday night yan sa Las Vegas. Si Mel Mag says, hi. Hello. Hello to you too. Si Roniel Domingo Navarro says, mabuhay, watching from Calgary, Canada. Go, Ateneo Blue Eagles daw. Wow. Also, si Victoria Dianco says, hello. Good afternoon from Hong Kong. Bill Nixon says, hello. Hi, Bill. This is Bill from Canada. Thank you for watching us. And si Sani J. Pobre says, hello, my. Okay, we have 10 seconds left in this short gap. Stay tuned for more stories. The newsroom's back with more stories. She's not called the Queen of Christmas for no reason. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas is one of the most played songs during the holiday season. Now it gets its animated film adaptation. Take a look.
I just love Christmas. I thought everybody did.
I'm going to tell you the story of my first love. It happened at Christmas time.
As you pointed out, you've become sort of synonymous with Christmas.
I didn't point that out, and I don't know why anybody's saying that I did. I just love Christmas. It's just something that I look forward to every year. So I don't look at it. It's something that I wrote, and I'm thankful for it. And so now that it's become a movie, animated movie, and it's really for kids and for the whole family. So it's something that makes me feel proud that I was able to write a Christmas song, and along with my other catalog. And hopefully I'll keep being able to listen to it and enjoy the holiday season.
What are you looking for Christmas? What are you hoping
Happiness, and just really getting to have my own Christmas and enjoy the holidays.
Now in sports, it's Ateneo versus La Salle again for UAAP supremacy. Our sports desk anchor Andre Felix has more on what to expect.
That's right, Maya. Another blockbuster finals in the UAAP is tipping off this afternoon. The Ateneo Blue Eagles and the defending champions, the De La Salle Green Archers, will battle it out for basketball supremacy for the second year in a row. Game 1 starts at 4 p.m. at the Mall of Asia Arena. Ateneo beat La Salle by a point in the first round of elimination games, but the Green Archers bounced back and shot down the Blue Eagles in the second round. Ateneo's Isaac Go tells Sports Desk his thoughts on going up against La Salle in the finals again.
It's going to be a classic. Ateneo-La Salle rivalry is always the big one, and then you have two juggernauts going at it. A rematch of last year's finals. You have the MVP Imbala in one team. You have 30 Numitical 5 in another team. You have two coaches on each side ready to coach their way and help their team win. We like to think that we're a little bit more mature, a little bit more ready. We got 1 year of experience under our belt. We have another year with Coach Tab and the coaching staff teaching us new things, helping us improve.
As for La Salle's Richie Rivero, he shares his mindset heading into the championship series.
Sabi ni coaches namin, don't settle for anything less. So kami, sobrang yun, kaya may free time kami, extra talaga shooting and all skills para hindi mawala yung timing and and everything. Parang doon pa rin kami sa path na nakakapag-focus kami on studies and at the same time parang nagagawa rin namin yung parang something to do for us to be able to improve a lot in basketball, ganun. Siguro dun sa performance-wise namin, parang mas pumped up kami pag Ateneo.
We have more of the week's top sports stories on Sports Desk Weekend. I'm Andre Felix. Mai, back to you.
So how did the rivalry between Ateneo and LaSalle become the biggest thing in Philippine collegiate sports? Sports Desk correspondent Paulo Del Rosario gives us a closer look.
In UAAP Season 80, we will have another LaSalle versus Ateneo Championship Series. Let's take a quick look back at the two schools' history in the UAAP. The rivals were reunited in 1986, when LaSalle made the jump to the UAAP from the NCAA. It didn't take long for Ateneo and LaSalle to meet in the finals. In the 1987-88 season, the Blue Eagles defended their crown against their longtime rivals. The next season, it was LaSalle's turn to wear the crown. Then head coach Derek Pumaren led the Green Archers to their first ever UAAP crown against the FEU Tamaraws. Since the league entered the Final Four era in the 93-94 season, both LaSalle and Ateneo have been constant title contenders in the league. LaSalle leads the league in finals appearances with 16, while Ateneo follows in second with 11 in the Final Four era. The two teams don't just make it to the finals, they also win them. In their time in the UAAP, LaSalle has won 9 men's basketball titles, while Ateneo trails closely with 8 of their own. A win for the blue side this year could see Ateneo even up the score. The saying goes that when it's Ateneo and LaSalle playing, previous stats and records don't matter. Another saying from both schools goes, matalo na sa lahat, basta hindi sa kanila. In the coming days, it isn't just pride on the line. It is another championship. Paulo Del Rosario, CNN Philippines.
From Tsunami Walk to Cobra Walk, our country's former bets in the Miss Universe pageant are known for their signature walk. This year, our Rachel Peters will do her so-called Infinity Walk to ace, hopefully, every round of the competition. Christine Jacob-Sandejas learns that straight from Rachel's mentor. Watch this.
Now we are here, and of course, Rogel is going to teach us how it's actually done. How do we execute an infinity walk?
For Miss Universe, because Miss Universe has changed management, it's more of combined, being a beauty queen and being a model. That's what we did for Rachel, for her walk.
Oh my God, it's like, okay, oh, let's do this. Okay, now it's time for us to do the doctor.
Yeah.
Guys,
Hip
this
out.
is not easy.
Hip
I don't
out.
know how these girls can do it with a
Hip out.
smile on their face. And so, of course, the master himself, Rogel, said you always have to smile on stage. And now that I'm done with my brief beauty queen training with none other than Rogel Flores, it's now time for me to finally apply what I've learned on how to be a true beauty queen. Christine Jacob-Sandejas, Philippines!
Way to go, Christine. Beautiful. Now for Flores, the competition is tougher than ever, he says. This year, Miss USA, Miss South Africa, and Miss Spain might get in the way of Rachel winning the crown. Before we go, by now, you might have already heard about this Facebook group dedicated to certified titos and titas. Our senior anchor and correspondent Pinky Webb gives us a tour.
This is Classic Pare, Titos and Titas of Manila, a Facebook group that aims to bring nostalgia by sharing positive posts about the past. From good old-fashioned games like Tamagotchi, SOS, Tumbang Preso, Patintero, and Chinese Garter, pop culture icons like PBA teams, cartoons, and TV shows, popular snacks like champoy and lala, to old gadgets like laser discs, pagers, and early cellular phone models. The group opened last week, but it's already gained more than 700,000 members and counting. The administrators hope that with their group, they can help bring back the good vibes on social media. Pinky Webb, CNN Philippines.
That's flooding our Facebook feeds. That's what's happening in the newsroom this Saturday, November 25. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Catch the updates at the top of the hour and Newsroom 6 p.m. edition. Sports Desk Weekend is up next. Good afternoon.